Alrighty, sorry we had a technical difficulty. My OBS crashed because of course it would. Why wouldn't it? But we're back. So far we have one stage. Boop got, or the ace got found immediately off spawn. Of course there are no mither, as is common to see here on availability set on Blood Lodge. We've got Jukis from Los Salamancas on the killer right now, and we have one stage also on the Hanatu. We're back on the ace here in 7, it would seem. So Juki's actually in a very good spot. It seems he's going to go check the progress here in 11. Main, he seems he doesn't want to commit to that chase with ace. A little bit risky to not commit to a tunnel out though, especially since it seems he did not actually take the hook on the Hanatu when he downed him. I think we have found the Saga here. We're going to be taking chase on her. That gen has a lot of progress. It looks like it's about 90%. And he's not going to want to let this go. So it might be a little bit greedy though, because I'm sure at this point the servers have rotated and are already cranking out more gens, getting more progress. But that was a beautiful curve and he gets the down. We're going to hook right on top of this active gen, and I think that Jukis is in a really good spot now. He's got 2 stages, but he's got to be worried about progress. We have a little bit of an unorthodox build. Obviously, we see Ruin. We see that a lot of progress here in Shack. They do pop a gen. It looks like they popped 12. Yeah, thought they popped 12. Put on the Hanatu again. At least from this position, he can cut off any kind of rotate to get this unhook. And I mean, which they managed to sneak in anyway. What seems he wasn't really paying attention, but he does opt to take this hook. I don't know if I would take this hook. Obviously, we know that gen is very high progress. He must be confident, obviously, that Ruin must have regressed that gen enough that they couldn't double it out and pop it, which it seems that is the case, but we will hear the window bamboozling, so there's a second perk in play. They did pop another gen that looked like a gen in 9. He's worried about 1. Beautiful down. We found our Saga cut off here in 1. It's a very difficult pallet to play when you're injured once the pallet is thrown. He serves, despite being in what would be considered a precarious situation, is still like in a pretty decent spot, all things considered. Obviously, it may seem like they're in a bad spot, but they have really high progress still in 6, and they have been cranking. Obviously, this was a very quick down. There's no mither player, but they even pop another gen. And that was the gen there in 6, as we thought. And Shaq had a high prog too, and is still not popped. So they're like looking in a position for this to be like a 4K1, and maybe even outs if they play very well. Unfortunately, this hook is just way too open. So Jukis just saws from the other hook and gets a very clean down. They get the unhook. They pop Shaq, as we suspected they would, and I don't think the Jukis has like an incredible. Oh, I was very wrong actually. That is an incredible gen split. 1 main and like 3 here. Trying to get fancy with it. I don't know if I think that he can commit to this if he doesn't get this down very quickly, which he does. Beautiful curve. Obviously the truck is very unsafe if they are in overdrive. Billy can curve just about any filler in the game. There are a couple that he struggles on, but for the most part they are all like relatively safe. So by safe I mean for him as the killer. You're not overcommitting to play for a curve on them. You don't need to like Play for an M1 or just spam the window. Yeah, main building. Typically we don't see Bam as often anymore on Billy after his rework and his changes. He's very strong, so he can play most windows, but Juki's opting to play it very safe and not have to worry about like shack or main building. He serves up really good pressure or tackling main while they take chase of these incredibly strong fillers. And even if he catches the ace out here, he can't exactly like afford to slug him, so he would have to pick, which would be quite bad for Juki's his current position. I don't know if we commit to this, honestly. I think we need to go back to main. They're absolutely going to be doubling it, which actually they weren't. They've decided to opt and split pressure between 1 and main, which is even better for them. If they get enough prog on both, then I think Juki's needs to find a down very quickly, which he may do. Oh. What? Okay, so it wasn't a spec bug, that was a legitimate bug. Kudos to Juki's for not like slugging that, even though he assuredly could have, because that was very obviously not intended. And I imagine the other two will be doubling. Yeah, we see the pre-leave from the Gnome Either, and now we're on to Claudette. Juki's thought that perhaps they got back on the gen, but they actually went to get the pull, which is smart. Better to keep all their survivors in the game, especially with main having so much progress. It's looking like it's going to be outs, though. I don't think Juki's can play gen and protect, like, the gen in 1 and down that ace, and at a certain point, they just go in double 1, and 1 will have as much progress as main, and is this a balanced play? It's not a balanced play, so we will see the down. We could slug the survivor, go back 1, but we do have to be worried about Ace's whereabouts. We haven't seen him in a while. If I had to venture a guess, he is either resetting Hanatu or prepping to be there for Claudette, which actually was pressuring 1, which means Hanatu is on the pickup. Beautiful crouch. And like, I don't think you can commit this. Yeah, Juki's knows he's got to go back to the gen in main. Because if the chases go even a little bit long, like they just pop this gen for free, especially if they're doubling it. But with Ruin still up, I mean, he has a very good chance for defending this gen. Especially if he can down somebody and get a hook on it. Okay, we're swinging at our demons. That is not what Juki's needed right now. He definitely needed a down. I think Claudette was trying to wait out Sprint Burst there. Unfortunately, he doesn't really have a hook, like, super close to this gen. I think he could have carried to, like, 1, though, or 2, and hooked on 2. Yeah, and this gen is just like 99 now. Beautiful stun, very good patience. It's very clear why the survivors on them either. They definitely know what they're doing. I think at this point, Juki's is just come to terms with the fact that there's just too much prog and not enough he can do. Nice DH attempt, but Juki's was more patient. I think they will definitely pop the gen now, but this will be another person on hook, and they'll be going into 0 gens with 2 survivors dead. Nuck is a demon 50-50 king. I agree. I mean, he's won just about everything. I mean, that stun was beautiful, and the crouch before it. And now we're onto the Hanatu. Yeah, beautiful stun. It was a little bit of an ambitious swing. Definitely trying to swing for a little bit of Pokosif here. But now he's going to be worried about the doors, so... Yeah, and he knows that they just touched it. I mean, we saw the scratch marks, but maybe Juki's didn't. Opting to go back to the Hanatu, it seems. I think we may have fumbled a little bit. I think we definitely needed to go check back door. Thankfully, survivors were a little bit too patient and didn't immediately get back on. And now it's a game of hide and seek as we try and find Hanatu, which it seems we're just going to opt to take the hook on Claude, and we see the Hanatu now, so I think we just hook and go take our 4K0. Which means that the broke boys Billy just has to 4K with any amount of generators remaining. Yeah, worried about Hatch. And yeah, with this door spread, I don't think there's any way that they can get out, yeah. I mean, the worst case scenario would be that he, like, loses the Hanatu here. Because that gate is, like, 70%. Yeah, I mean, he can just stand between them now. And I think that that is going to secure our 4K0. Very well played from both boys there, though. Juki's had a really, really early down, and like even their chases weren't like super long. Like as far for Billy standards, maybe a little bit long, but there were definitely some incredibly short chases that like they just managed to keep up the gen pressure despite it and pull out a really good result. So we'll be right back with Broke Boys on Killer. Alrighty, and we're back, and we've got Nuck on the Hillbilly this time on Blood Lodge for the Broke Boys versus Los Salamancas Survivors. We did unfortunately have a misset map, so Nuck will have received a little bit of a penalty, but that just means that a 4K0 will not tie, will instead be a loss. But if Nuck can get the 4K with gens remaining, then it won't even matter, so... oh, very huge undying value there, which... obviously, the aura there reveals to us what one of their perks is, which is that we saw the aura because of Undying. And with that, we can appropriately assume that he also has Ruin with it. So, we're going to get our first hook on No Mither here quite early still. Not quite as early as Juki's first down, but still very respectable. And we're interrupting progress here in main, which is huge for Nuck. We will see Nuck break the door, which I think portrays maybe a little bit of the fact that they also did not bring BAM, as we talked about in the previous match, where it's not quite as popular. We do see Misha here trying to stealth for the pole. We did see a little bit of a Sasquatch. Very good flare and a little bit of a crouch. But unfortunately, this area is quite dead, but Nuck opts for an M1 instead of the down, which is pretty big. Gives him time to immediately come back to FX here, who just got unhooked, and try and tunnel them out of the game. Which if he had taken the down, he probably would not have been able to do. We do see a flare here, but that's just going to result in FX having to go corner here in 6 and die. And that will be a very quick re-down. We can only hope that Salamancas has progress here, but a huge DS, which is going to give FX a little bit more distance on this chase. Oh, beautiful greed there. Doesn't drop the pallet, which means he still has this tile to play. We're trying to mind game a little bit, see if FX is paying attention, which he definitely is. Oh, that was a beautiful curve. We see 2 gens pop for this chase, which already means that we've committed a lot of time to FX and just having a beautiful chase, gorgeous stun. And FX has still got some mileage on this chase, it would seem. And I don't know if Nuck wants to commit this anymore. I mean, this is wasted a lot of time. We see FX making incredible distance. FX is juicing, yeah, and Nuck understands, like, he has to leave this chase. He's commit way too much time. He needs stages, and he needs a 4K1 to win. Like, a 4K0 won't even tie, so... We have now taken the chase on the Paradigm, who is attempting to cleanse one of the totems. Beautiful flare. And now he's gonna get M1'd. Doesn't quite make the pallet yet, but... And we're just gonna leave, apply more pressure, and try and look for survivors on gens, because we cannot let them pop anything more. If we want to have a chance at a really good result, we need a down quickly. And we see Shocking popping in the distance as well. I mean, Salamancas are in an incredible position now. Like, his chases are, you know, really solid, and they're going to the right spots, and ultimately Nuck is in a really bad position in terms of pressure, but he does have all 4 serves injured, which means that not only does he threaten a saw down, but also an M1. And we're on to Misha here on the... Oh, he has no resource though, so that's going to be a down. So we're going to get Misha up on a hook, get another stage. And, I mean, this gen spread is also not super great. Like, we've got the gen over there in 11, we got a gen in 1, we got a gen in 9, and then this shallow 6. Not even really a defendable 3 gen. But we do catch Paradigm out, which is huge. That's exactly what we need. They've cleansed, ruin, and undying, so we have another perk that can come into play. And with 4 serves injured, with Juki's just getting reset, obviously, we did have a little bit of time with Ban at full value, so that definitely gave Nuck a lot more time to, like, pressure the map and play for stages, and that was a very, like, advantageous situation for him to be in, given how his start was. And now I would say that Nuck is in a lot more of a commanding position, where their progress is dwindling. He's got to serve on hook. Like, they had to get Misha up and get Misha off hook. Like, they still need to reset. Like, even the 2 stacks of Thana that they're currently under, like, is a pretty significant amount of pressure that he just passively builds. So Salamancas is not in the clear yet, and if he catches a rotate at any time, like, he will be in a very, very, very good spot. I will say though, however, we probably can't afford to camp. Like, we need to do pressuring survivors, because if we try to camp this, then they just pop the 2 gens and leave, and that will be it. But we get a beautiful down on Juki's here. Obviously predicted the crouch, didn't just send it, and as a result he gets a nice down. And now he's got 3 serves injured and 1 on hook, and if he can keep up this pressure and this momentum, then he's in a good, really, really good spot. So we also did see our eruption proc in the distance. That is our 4th perk. And we find Paradigm here at this double window tile. That was life though, and he correctly determined that he should not commit to this gen, or to this chase. They do pop the gen in 1 though. So as far as 3 gens go, this is the best that he had available to him. It's not the worst, and we know that this survivor is Paradigm and will not have his life back yet. And he wins the 50, so that's going to be Paradigm going down. I don't know if Paradigm actually went 2nd stage. I do not think that they did. I think that they managed to get the pull just in time. Help a little bit of stuttering there, but we have a hook in between the 2 gens with Prague, and the problem is that with 4 survivors up, it's really difficult to generate enough pressure to stop them from popping a gen, especially when they can just work the gen in 11 and this gen here in shallow 6 and never even worry about this generator here, all while having a relatively safe survivor to, you know, pressure this unhook. So we do have information on everybody at this point, but oh, that was almost a hit. Effects almost pathed into him. Very well done. Good, nice eruption proc on Shallow 6. I don't know if FX has DH, if that's even allowed, but because usually DHDS is a combo ban. And we find Paradigm here pressuring this incredibly high progress gen, and Paradigm is dead on, so if we get this down relatively quickly and get this hook, like, we'll be in the 3v1 potentially. Nuck can make something. Unlucky, they do pop the gen there in 11. Very well played from the survivors. I think that FX just had an immaculate chase for his tunnel out, and it unfortunately cost Nuck all the pressure that he had built up in the early game. So if we do have DH, wonderful. So now we're gonna get this door open, but the potential for the 4K0 is still here, I suppose, but I think that we hear Misha, who is probably just going to take the out as soon as this pick happens, so. He kind of got zoned away from the door, but I think he does make it, unfortunately, for Nuck, which means we will see outs, and I think Juki's just let Paradigm, yeah. So, very well played. I think Nuck was in a really good spot. FX just had a really wonderful chase, and that inevitably cost Nuck his pressure, but we'll move into Spirit on Wreckers for our next set. Alrighty, welcome back. We have the Broke Boys on Killer once again. This time we have your local Jesus on the Spirit. And we are on the Wreckers Yard. Very standard Spirit map. It is the map that you almost always see her on here in comp. We have Jesus trying to catch any stealthing or rotating here. And now we're going to venture into 3 and see if we can find any survivors towards 1, looking towards 12. But these survivors are doing a really good job of not being found. We did apparently see someone cross here into 6. Or 7, rather. But now we're taking chase into 6. And it looks like we are on Juki's on the Atom this time. Juki's going to take chase to 3. Oh, big swing. We have a little bit of a whiff from Jesus, getting a little bit. Oh, but Jesus does win the 50 there. And now we're going to see the phase onto Adam's back. Yes, very good down in 1. And we know they were working 7. So we should potentially see that gen pop maybe anytime soon. And hopefully they have prog on another gen. We do see the little bit of a faster carry there. So we see agitation in play. And now we see prog here in 11, but no survivor. Hopefully they always actually do see them. Seems we've caught Xiaomi out here. That was I mean, honestly, it was so subtle, I almost missed it. Okay, we got progress here in Shallow 9 as well. So the Surf do have good prog. They're pressuring the map quite well, and there goes the gen there in 7, so. Oh, we found our Lara, unfortunately. Beautiful down there from Jesus onto Lara, and hopefully FX has rotated to get that pole. Otherwise, yeah, there it is. And we're going to see a very early for the people. I genuinely think that I do like this play here. Obviously, you need to extend your tunnel out as long as possible, and it is the Spirit who has quite good chase, so she has the potential to shut down like any attempt at extending a tunnel out. And unfortunately, Juki's just has nothing to work with here in deep 3, and he goes down and takes it to the corner, so they did get Xiaomi unhooked and reset, so I think that the survivors are in a very good spot, especially with the gen progress they had built up. But I think that the game is still up to anyone here. Jesus could have potential for a very big result, especially if he finds Misha here, who was our For the People, sprint bursting into the corner. I think he is just dead. And now we can kick and slug and go back. And I think the survivors are in a little bit of trouble with this. That was a beautiful find from Jesus. Good game sense to know that they were previously working 10. He didn't quite make it all the way to 9 to check 9 though. And I think that that was probably 9 popping. It sure was, so Jesus trying to find any rotate, getting a little fat shame there on that rock. We did see the slug get picked up and the unhook. Incredibly efficient from these survivors, very well played, but I think that they need to have a halfway decent chase here in order to pop that gen in 10 and break up any potential 3 gen that they could have. Oh, unlucky. Chuki's vaulting into the killer, trying to play the 50-50 on power. And Jesus is going to carry closer to 10 and hopes to prevent that gen from popping, which it seems he absolutely will, which I think we saw Xiaomi rotating in for it. But we did see someone else rotating off of it, was probably our sprint burst player. We did find Xiaomi, who's going to take tag and head towards deep 9. So potentially this means lost the 50, unlucky. It probably means though that FX is working deep 3, where they got the unhook on Juki's. Interesting to not slug this and start looking for more as well. Like, they're incredibly, like, Spirit's not, I guess, the most mobile killer ever, because like she has to use her power for mobility, but like her power makes her so fast, and like you get it back so quickly with Flute that I think that it definitely got the fat shame again. I think it definitely behooves her to like slug a little bit and play for a little bit more pressure. It was a beautiful tag there on Misha though, and I think that the serve's progress has all but stopped at this point. We did see the reset on Xiaomi too. It's 2 very quick resets, so potentially an allowed reset perk or resurgence in play. And I think Jesus is playing for the basement hook. That will pretty much guarantee that Misha dies here. It would take a lot for these survivors to manage to get this pull and gen pressure at the same time. And we might be looking at a 4K3. So we did already have a FX here in Shack, stealthing to get the pull, and it looks like we're going to take a trade for it. Perhaps that's like something like UB or something. Oh, he does make the locker, forcing the pull. And maybe Xiaomi is on a gen. If Xiaomi is on a gen, they might pop and make it 4K2. Which would be a very good like outcome given the situation they were in, which Jesus seems to know which gen they would have to be working. To be deep 9, which actually they were working 10, and they have a lot of progress on it. Xiaomi not thinking she was seen though, stealthing a little bit. I think she probably should have taken a little bit of distance there. Oh, it's just missed skill check in 3. Sorry, team. I did not mean to yawn, but we see balanced landing coming into play. But that does mean that we know nobody's coming for FX. Beautiful fake. Oh, we see Misha there. And yeah, he's gonna swap targets over to Misha, who sprint bursts away. You're gonna see the shock pallet come down, and just another trade. Actually, Jesus is leaving. I don't know if that was the play. I think he should have maybe commit there to Misha, get another trade into basement. But either way, we get Xiaomi down, and both of the survivors are out of basement. We can imagine they have a little bit of progress on 3, and we know have a lot of progress in 10. These survivors, especially with no hook in basement anymore, but a survivor dead, potentially could pop another gen. If somebody is stealthing in like 9 right now while one stealths towards 3, like, or if they get a full reset, in either of those situations, they potentially could still pop a gen. I actually think it was Medkit that reset themselves on FX, so. We do find FX. And it was Shaq that had, oh, not the standstill attack on the spirit phase. We know Shaq has a lot of prog. So if FX can, oh, beautiful dead hard. If FX can last long enough, Shaq might pop. And Jesus has to be worried about 10 because it also had like 75% progress. Oh, beautiful down. I think that secures the 4K3 though. That down was very quick, right on top of the gen, and I think as long as he finds FX, which honestly this will be a testament to FX's stealth here. Which FX did mend. Okay, he's just gonna pick Misha here. I think that sound, it at least prevents them from, you know, getting a cheeky pickup. I think he low-key got off hooked in basement here and then stood on hatch. And then watched 10, which is his primary, like, threat right now. Seems he's a little bit worried about 3, which it did have a little bit of progress, but not enough to be worried about it. They do get the pull, but I think that we're just foregoing the inevitable here, that it would be quite difficult for these survivors to manage to pop a gen with all their progress bled out and only 2 of them left alive. Oh, taste through the pallet. That's so unlucky. I do think that FX and Jesus are probably on cross ping because Jesus is west. I don't actually know if FX is east or west, but he greeted a little bit for the stun, and unfortunately it did not pay off. And yeah, we see all the progress in 10 is gone. Shaq is dead. We know 3 got erupted, so at this point there's no gen progress, and Jesus knows that. He has secured his results, so very well played from Jesus, and honestly very well played from Salamancas survivors as well. I mean, they've been in a very rough spot pretty much the entire game, and I think that they have done a very good job of keeping the pressure up even despite the situation that they were in. Obviously Spirit is incredibly good in chase, so like there's not too much you can do, especially when your death location lacks critical resources like Juki's tunnel out chase. But we'll be right back with Salamancas on Killer. All right, we're back. We've got Misha on the Spirit this time for Salamancas, and he's got quite a steep win con, as Jesus got a 4K3 in their previous match, and I think that Misha is going to need quite a good start, but it is Spirit, so it is very possible. And I think that even if he manages to tie, he will be like in a very good spot. Salamancas did win the first set of Billy as well, so even if he doesn't manage to pull a 4K3, we'll still have demo tiebreaker. Good double back there from Rez. And wow, we have a little bit of spam vaulting in Shaq. What's happening? All right, that was a little bit odd. Oh, Jesus giving first tag. And going down very quickly afterward. I really like the spirit weapon. I know that's off topic, but that was a relatively quick down. Obviously, we know they have quite a bit of progress in 7, but... And very, very little progress here in Shaq. We did see Corrupt when we loaded in as well. I think that Misha was just a little bit worried about letting them just instantly sit gens, and as a result, they wanted to just be a little bit safe and bring Corrupt and give themselves time to, you know, find survivors and have a very good start, which is definitely what he needed, which we'll see the Gen 10 pop as we're back on our injured survivor with a very quick tunnel out. Oh, somebody was in Jack. That was almost really bad. Good on Misha to recognize the pallet save attempt, and now we're kind of hooking on top of our progress as well, and we have like Shaq this gen here in 7, and then a 9 gen, which is a really good 3 gen. Obviously, he can't really play the 3 gen because he needs a 4K3, but you know, if all else fails and he can't hit that win con, he still has a really good safety net to play for a very respectable result. We have a survivor here in 6. Unfortunately, they seem to have pathed away, but I would still say that Misha has really good pressure right now. Like, obviously, none of the other survivors are injured, but he's got eruption down on every gen that has prog, and like he's preventing an FTP play here. I mean, or at least seemingly. And now he's back on his tunnel out on 4. Oh, very good mind game there. Getting Jesus down before he could be FTP'd or assisted in any way, and then getting eruption on 2 of the gens that have high prog. And we have Aura now on an injured survivor, so I think that Misha's in a very, very good spot. As long as he keeps his chases quick and keeps up the pressure that he has going. Oh no, they're definitely popping Shaq here. I don't think he can prevent it. But he still has Tycon, so he just has to be worried about 7 and 5. Have halfway decent progress, and I think we heard quite a bit of progress in 5. Definitely more progress than we heard here. I just don't think Misha heard it. So I think we're definitely going to see 5 pop at any moment now. Yeah, there it goes. Unlucky, but it was a very steep win con, and I think Misha still played an incredible game. I just think that maybe if he got a little bit closer to 5, he would have heard that prog and could have prevented it. But still, his mechanics are very sound. He is playing Spirit very well. And the serves are not slouching either. Again with the spam vaulting though. A little bit of friendly BM, I would say. Obviously both of these teams are friends, so I think that whoever that survivor is I think it's probably JoJo. Wants a little bit of chase. Or potentially they're just doing it to throw off the phase by vaulting and making sound. which would be a little bit of an unorthodox strategy. I don't despise it, but we see the Claude here, Nuck in 6. And I mean, at this point, I think that with the 3-gen popped, oh, and a 99 burst, very well done. Taking chase onto Nuck, reset onto Rez. And now all of Misha's pressure is kind of faded. Oh, very close. I think he's gonna opt to leave and go check his gen in 3. We see scratch marks. He might even stop at check 1. He may not have seen the scratch marks that we did on the tile. Yeah, he didn't. But he's gonna check 3 anyway, which is smart. At least he, you know, good game sense. He knows that if they're not in one, they're probably rotating to the other. Take the gen, apply eruption. Start building up that pressure little by little. But the servers are doing a really good job of stealthing it out. Progress in 9 as well. And I think that unless Misha can find a survivor relatively soon, we're going to be in some troubles. These survivors are playing incredibly well. Like, not going too fast, like halting the window to prevent phase. It was a good stealth, a wonderful finesse play from JoJo. Like, Rez has had some really good chases, his pathing is really good. Plus he's playing Saga, who is really quiet. Basically silent even. Yeah, it's JoJo vaulting every time they phase to prevent them being able to hear audio, which I think is a very interesting strategy. I don't think that it's the worst in the world. I don't necessarily think it's the most efficient way to play, but I think that it's a definitely a neat and unique strategy. It definitely like highlights their team play as well. Like they're calming, like phasing just in time for them to start vaulting stuff too. We saw the eruption in 9 and the Claude is still on it, which means it probably has incredible progress. I don't know if Misha's even gonna make it in time to prevent it. Oh, it is really close, but eruption I think saved the gen there. And this is our sprint first player. You see the unhook coming through. He's waiting for eruption. Sorry, I had to tab out and sneeze that ad. And now we're on to JoJo. We know has finesse, so. And Misha is correctly worried about this gen over here in 9. Has a lot of progress on it. And the Squadite's paying really good attention, knock on the check spots. Wow, very good distance as well. And now you have to phase on a healthy survivor. It can be difficult, but Misha managed to convert it. And I think Nuck is just gonna hold W to edge and be content with the death here at the edge map. Maybe even, yeah, pathing back into 9, which means they probably have a lot of progress on 3. They're probably doubling it out, if not resetting somewhere in that corner. I think that's going to be very tough for Misha to 4K this. Now he's got to use power to get all the way to 3, and if it's high enough progress, they may pop anyway. Plus, like once he gets there, he won't have power, so. Thankfully, not close enough to pop, though, which does give Misha a chance. There is a line here. They were resetting instead of pressuring the gen, which is smart. And there comes the unhook. And that may have even been medkit. Probably left 3 to reset himself. Stop progression on 9. And I think the serves here just, if as long as they keep pressuring 9 and 3, I don't think there's anything Misha can really do about it. Those gens are just too far apart. Wonderful read on Jojo though. Huge hit. Oh, a beautiful down too. It gets the eruption in 3. I mean, Misha is still like every moment showing just how like mechanically skilled he is at this killer. He's not giving up, and I think that that's definitely a testament to his skill. He knows what he's doing. I think these servers definitely, you know, played very well, and he definitely matched them. And I think that if his win con wasn't so steep, that this would have been a really close match. And now, yeah, he's got to go to 3, who Rez probably has a halfway decent progress on at this point. Yeah, we see him stealthing off of the gen. And yeah, I mean, it's also 99. And Nuck was still there, stealthing for the pull. And I think Misha knows that. So writing is on the wall at this point. Still, just an immaculate game. Like, a wonderful watch. So again, they're like both going to be doubling 9 now, so it should pop any minute now. I mean, maybe he gets this down in time, though. He can erupt it and prevent the pop, but does prevent the pop, but if he picks this, I don't know if he will stop it before it does. I think Rez is dead, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought the pick would cost him the gen, but he had to pick a death or a hook. Like a death or a gen, and even if he didn't like take the hook, and there's no guarantee that he stops the gen anyway, so I think that's a perfectly fine play. And now he's gonna take the chase onto Jojo. There's our life. On the Z-wall. Oh, winner of the 50s, Jojo. Jojo will go down, though. I think we're going to see a slug for the 4K0, but if he's on that door all the way in 3, I don't know. It'll be close. No, I think it's open. I don't think he makes it. Yeah, unfortunate, but still very strong result. I think both sides played an immaculate game, and Jojo had UB unlucky. He's got to get to hatch before Jojo does. But now he has to find Jojo. Because if Jojo manages to rotate all the way to the door, which I think he's still there in that 7 corner. Oh, no, he's not. No, I think he makes it. Very well played. Huge result for the survivors there. And, alright, we'll come back with the Demogorgon on Cold Tower for the tiebreaker. Right after this ad. All right, so here we are on the Demogorgon on Cold Tower 1. We've got effects on the demo for Los Salamancas. And this is our tiebreaker set. We are currently Salamancas 1 and Baroque Boys 1. So I think in this set we can expect to see, you know, a lot of team play, a lot of team coordination. And from what we saw in that Spirit set, I think that the Baroque Boys definitely have that down mechanically, but the Demogorgon has a really good ability of just zoning you off and preventing you from making any more resources. And we also see that they have Blackheart, beautiful crouch. But Apex still manages to get the hit. Oh, winner of 50s. W Jojo. Very well played, very patient. I think FX might need to break this pallet. Yeah, and he realizes it as well. Now we know somebody's working the mid-gen. Or bamming the double window. Oh, beautiful prediction of his vault there. A relatively quick down for Demogorgon, and we do see that we have Pain Riz top side. Question is, do we have a topside 3-gen? Not really. It seems like he's got a 4-gen bottom. Okay, we're working this gen here in 8. They have a whole lot of progress on it. Going back to get his tunnel out. We're gonna see that team play I was talking about. Nuck is gonna come in and throw the pallet for Jojo and potentially be here to take a hit. Oh, but the comms. It seems that they caught Jojo out a little bit. Oh, good player though. Correctly predicted the shred, and there goes the down again, and we're gonna put Jojo back up on the hook. Honestly, the little bit of a misplay there in main building that cut Nuck off from taking a hit kind of cost him that down. Like, they could have potentially extended his chase, and it does seem actually that we do have a little bit of a 3-gen top side. Maybe even a little bit of a 4-gen. It looks like we're split kind of right down the middle. Because the mid-gen is kind of like for both of them, and then we have the gen in 11, the gen in main, and then the gen in mid. So it was like this mid-gen 765, and then mid-gen 2 main 11. So it was like 313. And with this hook on this mid-gen, if they can't pop this mid-gen, they can't even reliably break either 3-gen, so... We are opting to tunnel instead of just taking the down. But does Jojo even make anything with Force Hezi in play? He doesn't. And that's going to be a really quick tunnel out. Force Hesitation getting huge value there. And I mean, we can only hope that somebody is on Nuck right now to get this on like this pickup. And maybe Misha, or FX rather, thinks that they are, so he's going to play for... Nope, he's just going to take the pick instead of going to check the gen in 11. Carrying him mid, I think I would have carried him up to 1. Hook on the Pain Res in 1. It's a little bit more defensible, plus keeps you in your gens. But he may not plan to defend it at all. He may just plan to play for like a high 4K, which I think is relatively achievable at current present. I mean, the survivors would have to really mess up, but you know, anything can happen. Yeah, I pop 11. I mean, this is still like 4K3 potential, so... But nah, he's gonna leave, set a portal. Go back to 5, which I think is smart because I had really high prog. I didn't see if they stopped progression on it or not. Good stealth from the survivor that was here, though. He's a little bit confused on where he wants to go, it seems. And they still have this 3-gen topside to play for a 4K1 if they want. We find Nuck, stealthing back of main. Nice fake. And I think that's going to be Nuck going down, yep. No eruption, however. Oh, we're going to slug. I think that's smart. Go back to 5, prevent them from popping this gen for free. Oh, but he missed the portal. Also, they're working the mid-gen. Oh, well. I mean, still value, I suppose. You just... Oh, beautiful shred. Break the pallet and get the tag. That's very, very well done. Don't break this pallet. It seems that they did not. Oh, beautiful shred. He expected the flare, still got the hit anyway. Well done. Rez got the pickup just now. I think that FX is in a really good spot right now. His demo mechanics are definitely showing. This pain res is going to hit that mid-gen. 5 is all but dead at this point. And yeah, mid is 50 now when it was previously 70 or 80%. I think we're still on track for a really, really solid result. The serves still have the potential with good enough efficiency to, you know, pop another gen or two, but that was a really good chase for FX. And it's like Nuck can't even realistically come in for this pull because he's injured and without a reset. And we know where Rez is, so as long as we keep pressuring this gen and we keep an eye on mid, we may even get Jesus to second without any real hassle. Oh, we didn't charge long enough and Nuck sneaks in and gets the pull, so... I think, yeah, he needs to portal back so he can prevent any potential reset, because if the two of these survivors get reset, he loses all the pressure that he's built to this point. Yep. Zoning them away. Yeah, good. Well played. Just zones them away from all the resources. Like, if he doesn't try to hold W away, he just gets zoned and broke and then dies anyway, and if he doesn't maybe pass to the pallet, then he just charges a shred and prevents him anyway, so they did cleanse a portal. And yeah, they do pop the gen. I think that was the mid-gen, right? No, it wasn't. It was the gen in 2. Okay. So 3 gen is broken at this point. He kind of has like a loose one, main, mid, like 6, but for the most part, no really conceivable 3 gen. Oh my god, the demonic vaults. Oh, beautiful shred though. Thankfully Nuck was paying attention and the demonic vaults did not work, but they might pop mid in time. It's gonna be close. No, they don't greet it. It was only like 80%. And I think Rez is his only pain res, so... Jesus might be in main now, working the main generator. Honestly, his result right now is already really good. You only really expect Demogorgon to get 5 or 6 stages, and he's already at 7, so like with the potential to 4K with gens remaining, I think that FX has played a very, very solid game. His shreds have been on point. Only a couple of moments where he maybe sent it when he shouldn't have, and we know that Jesus is here in main building, and I think we saw Rez going for the unhook. We did. Just gonna take the BT tag. I think that he probably shouldn't play for this. I don't know if he's gonna get it in time, but Nuck playing really good check spots there, gets the stun. And I think you just need to leave if you want to secure your current generators. I think mid will pop if you're not careful. And they're working main as well. Jesus is here. It's very likely that this is like a balanced landing play if it's allowed. It seemingly was. Yeah, just keeping zoning them away from everything. Forcing the locker. And yeah, there goes the mid-gen. He could still 4K1, but main building has a lot of progress. And even if he doesn't 4K here, he absolutely needs to find res. And it's like, with Jesus dead, it's much more likely that he will 4K1. But at this point, he needs to prioritize finding res, so I think he may have done. I wasn't sure if that was Nuck or res. I couldn't tell. I think I heard injured noises, which means it was Nuck. And I think res is probably in main building at this point. Yes, they were. We hear the drop. Good flare. Very good shred. Res had incredibly good pathing there, but FX definitely knows what he's doing. And I mean, this is the chase that you need. Like, in main building where all your progress is, on the survivor who's still worth a pain res. Nice. Predicted the vault and hits the down. And like with the new just hook here on the pain res, demolish any progress that they maybe have, and then you just go look for Nuck, and even if they get the unhook, it just gives you information on right where they are, so and if they were close enough for the pull, then like they wouldn't have been working gens, which now you just have to find them on the rotate, and yep, there it is. Oh, beautiful shred, and now you just pursue res. Beautiful 4K1. All right, 4K1 for FX has a very good result. Beautifully played match of the Demogorgon, and we'll be right back with Broke Boys on the demo. Alrighty, we're beginning our final match of the evening. We've got Jack on the Demogorgon for the Broke Boys versus Los Salamancas Survivors, featuring Xiaomi, Misha, Jukies, and FX. So Jack, to win, has to get a 4K2, which is a pretty tall order for the Demogorgon. As we talked about in the previous match, 5 to 6 stages is relatively expected. If the survivors play together and play, efficiently, and they don't get too greedy, and they just kind of sit gens while chase is happening, the Demogorgon can kind of struggle. His mobility is limited, and his chase power is not incredibly strong, but that being said, we see Juki's on the edge map. Get a very quick tag. And we're gonna see Juki's seemingly trying to take it up map, maybe? We see Misha lurking for what is potentially a hit take. Oh, Juki's path away literally right at the perfect moment. The Demogorgon tried to vault in mind game. Oh. Juki's is playing short side though, which can be really tough against any killer, let alone the Demogorgon. And that's exactly why the check spot's not incredibly reliable. Oh. Oh, very close. Effects almost got the firecracker save. And our pain reses are not as friendly to Jack as they are or were for FX. But you do see we have though 18% haste. So we do have agitation. He does make the pain res here in 5. The gen split is not horrible. We have this bottom mid, Shaq, and like 6 or 7. We also have a gen in 8 where Chase was. We have a lot of progress here in 6. Jack checking for any kind of rotate, see if he can cut anybody off from the pole. I think we should probably see some gens popping any moment now. We know Misha, or actually we know Misha is here, so Xiaomi and FX are probably somewhere on a gen. Actually, one rotated in for the pole, and we see an FTP from FX. And we should see both of them heading up map then. Xiaomi should probably be popping a gen quite soon, I would think. FX greeting a little bit. Protected the flare and gets the down, and we see a nice pain res here immediately in 1. If that gen doesn't pop right now. Oh, and it does. It's actually the 7 gen, which means we hit whatever other gen had progress. I would hope that it's like that gen in 9. Because they need to pop one of the topside gens if we're to secure a like favorable gen split. It's actually in 10 and it has no progress on it. They were actually working main, which is also fine. I think that main probably could have been saved for last and popped like 2 instead, but Chase was sent that way, so we see another gen pop. The gen in Shack, it seems, and we've found FX again, and we're gonna take it bottom now because the bottom gens have all been popped. We have the filler here, we do. We should probably see a hit take come in to extend this chase. He does make the jungle gym. He is paying attention. Beautiful pathing from effects here. He's still there at the window side. He's playing this chase very well. Can definitely see the survivor mechanics coming out. And I think Jack is in a little bit of trouble because they got full reset everybody else and are going to be sitting gens. Oh, we see a little bit of stuttering there. And main building pops, and we're going to be playing this God Filler here in 1. Oh, he dies in the pallet. There's somebody here for it. Oh, Misha was there. Beautiful flashlight save. I think Jack is in a little bit of trouble, as we're going to see probably another gen pop any minute. The gen 8 had some progress, yeah. And there comes the hit take. These survivors are playing a wonderful game, and FX is having a fantastic chase. I think that Jack maybe is ego chasing just a little bit. And he does win the 50 there and gets the down. Misha is still here. He's gonna get another down. But at this point, like, you take the PR, you get the second hook on effects, and I mean, Jack is in a really rough spot right now. FX just had like the time of his life in that chase. And yeah, there goes the final gen, which is also the win con. Jack still played very well. I think he was a little impatient on some of his shreds, and he definitely should have played a little bit stricter macro and not only needed to leave FX's chase, but overall, I don't think that he, you know, played horribly or anything. I think that, like, FX just had a fantastic, phenomenal chase. And Misha, with the flashlight save and the hit take, just set FX up that much better. And inevitably that led to the win because, I mean, there's not much Demogorgon can do in that situation where, you know, if you're playing as a team and playing altruistically. But phenomenal games today. Both teams played very well. I mean, Rogue Boys played that spirit set like it was second nature to them. I mean, they played it incredibly. Salamancas played a really good Billy game, and they played that Demogorgon game absolutely perfectly. And in all three games, even on the other side where their killer had to play to tough win cons, like, they still played very well. So mechanically very skilled. I think both teams just were incredibly even matched. And when you have a game that's like, it's that close, that it really is just anybody's game, as anything can go right. Somebody just has, you know, a really good chase, they lock in, and like the killer player just can't really do anything about it. I think he still played very well despite it.